Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's been a while actually since I recorded. I haven't really had much time to record. We're actually in the middle of moving. I'm finally leaving Brampton. We're going to be moving north about an hour and a half or so. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have a lot more property, a lot more space. Hopefully we can pick up a couple more projects in the future. I don't know about that. We'll have to see. Other than, you know, getting the STI fully broken in, which we did a couple days ago, nothing much has changed. I got a haircut that I've been desperately needing. I'm hyped about that. It was well overdue. I'm still gonna do my little hair thing that I know people rip on me for. It is what it is, it's in my blood. So what are we doing today? We are actually going to be saying goodbye to the COBB Accessport. Because of the green speed update, we can no longer tune the STI with it. It is really unfortunate. I am not stoked about it. So unfortunately we have to say goodbye to it. Bummed about it, didn't want to do it, is what it is. That also means we got to get rid of our mount for it. We have to get rid of this. This is the Mach V mount. In my honest opinion, this is the best mount you can get for the COBB Accessport for the 2015 plus STIs and WRXs up to, I believe, 2021. Obviously, they did a new generation, which doesn't work. In my opinion, best mount. It's super stable. Like, it ain't moving. It's very secure. There's nothing, like, no screws or nothing that holds it in. It slides right out when you need it. And it's super clean. It sits there. It's not 3D printed, which really looks ugly and can break and they're brittle. I think still to this day, this is the best mount. So the Accessport will probably be for sale, as well as the mounts. Some dude's looking at me right now. I'm like in my car. There's some dude staring at me. So what are we doing? Accessport is saying goodbye. See you later. I don't have a reason to keep it. And we are going to be going open source. Now, to do that, you can either go to a dyno and you can get a tuner to tune it for you. But I am doing eTunes. So to do eTunes, you need a wideband sensor, which we already have from before. But we also need a Tactrix cable. This is their open port 2.0 cable. It's not cheap, let me tell you that. I decided to buy it, and I bought it with all the adapters that come with it. It was an extra 20 bucks, just because I have a feeling in the future I will be having future projects where I'll need it. I really like I don't know, I enjoy e-tuning. It's fun. You just drive around, do a dialogue, and send it. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, dynos are pretty sweet. They're probably better for like high horsepower builds, but we're pretty low power, so you know. You can also do Ecutech. That is an option, but I looked into it and I'm kind of happy I'm going open source, just because you're not really locked out. Ecutech, from my understanding, is pretty similar to COBB, where you're kind of locked in. No one else can really tune it. I like to do what I want when I want to do it. So that's kind of why I'm happy I'm going open source. And I don't really know the full benefits of like Ecutech versus open source. In my opinion, honestly, I'm not the pro at this. Just from what I've seen of it, it's kind of the same thing. I don't know. It's just open source is just anyone can do it. That's what I know. Whatever. This is what we're doing. The only thing though with losing the Accessport, there's going to be no gauges that you can monitor. So in the future we might get gauges. I never really liked the look of them, to be honest. I mean, okay, I do like the look of them, but like later older cars and the newer car, I didn't really love it. That's why I really like the Accessport. So another reason why I don't want to get rid of it. Another thing, order this directly from Tactrix. Do not buy it off of Amazon, eBay, wherever. They're cheap knockoffs. You know, get the real thing. I know it is a lot of money, but just trust me. You don't want to brick your ECU. Get the real thing. Spend the money once. You'll thank yourself later. But also, if you are planning on going to a dyno, you don't need to get this. I'm doing it because I'm doing e-tuning or remote tuning. Oh well. Let's get this thing started. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set the car back to stock, uninstall the Accessport so I can sell it, and unmarry your Accessport. You don't want to be that guy that, you know, sells an Accessport that's not unmarried. Screw you. So do that so your buyer will appreciate you. Once that's done, I need to get a ROM of the stock ECU from this car and send it to my tuner. He doesn't have one. By the way, shout out to Eric from Torque Performance. He's been doing all my e-tuning. I don't know if I mentioned that. So let's get this party started. Okay, with the car on, I turned everything off just so the battery doesn't die. I got the COBB Accessport booting up. we need to go ahead, uninstall it. So go back all the way down, clear Accessport from your vehicle, restore factory data. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Yeah, that's fine. So pretty much what we're doing, we're unmarrying the Accessport. The car is going to be going back to stock. You will not be able to drive the car, obviously. Let this thing run. Your dash is going to do some weird stuff. Let it do its thing. Once this is done, I will come back. All right, we're just about finished. Okay, turn and leave the ignition off position. Turn the car off, which I just did. Hit continue. Ignition key to the on position. Okay, so turn the car back on. Hit continue. That's all successful. Please turn ignition off. Blah, 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 before starting vehicle. Okay, so it's officially uninstalled. Now we're going to turn it off. I cannot drive the car right now. Yeah, so it's ready to be installed into a new car. It is no longer paired to mine, so we can go ahead and remove this, and we can go ahead and start getting this Tactrix cable hooked up to our car and connected to the laptop. All right, guys, it is the next day. By the time I got back to my tuner with my question as to what I was doing exactly, it was pretty late and I didn't get a response till the morning. No problem. It was pretty late when I sent it. It's the next day and I think I was overcomplicating it. I'm pretty sure he just wants a save file. I don't have to do anything, and I don't know. Let me just show you what I think I have to do. I'm not really sure. I'm going to open ECU flash again. So I was trying to like select my car before, and I don't think I have to do that. I think I could just read the ECU flash memory. And as soon as I do that, I hit OK. Hold on, let's try that again. I don't think I had ignition on. I think I just hit it once. So let's try one more time. And hit OK. And it's working. I think I'm doing it right now. I think I'm doing it right this time. I'm just going to let it do its thing. As you can see, it's reading your engine. I don't know what any of this means, so don't ask me. Your car's going crazy. And I do know that we are on the stock tune, because earlier it did show a check engine light when I just turned the car on to accessory mode or whatever. And I do know that we are on the stock tune, because when I turned the car on into accessory mode, it was saying check engine. So the car knows that there's stuff done to it that was not done to it when stock. So I'm going to let this finish up and save it when it's done. Okay, so it finished up. All it does is say to turn off your car, whatever, if you don't need it. This showed 3 options from before. I clicked the middle one. It's basically just save it and you could view it. I'm assuming that's what my tuner wants. So basically this is your stock ROM from my understanding. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And yeah, I kind of cheated it. I did this ahead of time. So 2018 stock ECU ROM. Go ahead and save. And now I'm going to email that to my tuner, and he should be able to give me a base map. Hopefully. Okay, I have gone ahead and I've sent the ROM to my tuner, and I just have to wait. Hopefully I sent the right thing. I'm praying I did. If not, we'll just have to get another one and send it again. In the meantime, something we can do is we can remove our Accessport. The mount I'm really bummed about getting rid of. I love that mount. I think it's the best one on the market, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Luckily, I did keep my OEM vent, so we can go ahead and throw this in and get this done. It really shouldn't take too long, but I'll throw you guys on a time lapse. Take it out. Accessport is out of the car. We are no longer using it. The mount did scratch it up a bit at the bottom. It is what it is. You can buy replacement plates. They're pretty cheap. I'm sure whoever is the new owner will do that. I also have the, I think it's the Mach V vent mount. This thing is like the best mount in my opinion for these cars. This is the 15 to 2021 WRX and STI vent mount for left-hand drive, of course. I'm gonna miss this. I really loved this setup. I thought it was the cleanest thing out there. Let's get the base map on now. It's actually not too hard. All right, so ECU flash is open once again. I got a base map from my tuner. we're going to open a ROM. I have it stored on my desktop. So this right here is my base map for my tuner. I'm gonna go ahead and open that. What is wrong? All right, so my tuner got back to me and basically he said I don't have the definition, so he gave me this. I downloaded it and he told me to put it into my ROM metadata folder. So I'm just going to drag and drop into there. Now let's try loading ECU flash again. And if I come here, load that, does it work? And it works. Okay, we can now load our base map into our car. It's pretty simple, you just gotta hook it up and let's get it thrown in. Okay, so we are back in the car. It's plugged back in. The Tactrix is right there. We can go ahead and override our stock map, which is currently in the car, with our base map, which is loaded right now on ECU flash. We're just gonna hit the button twice. So the car is on, obviously not ignition. I gotta turn this off again. So what we're gonna do now is click the red arrow and we're gonna overwrite the current map that's on the car with the map that we have loaded on ECU flash. Let's go ahead. Ignition is on, press OK. And there we go. It's doing the thing. So it's doing its thing. If it fails, do not turn off the car. Otherwise, you're probably gonna brick your car and that's not cool. So let this do its thing. We're all done. You can go ahead, turn off the car, hit OK. And our base map is now on the car. So we can go ahead, turn it on, and she should start. No check engine lights, which is good. Go ahead, let her idle for a bit, let the ECU kind of just relearn itself, let it idle for like 10 minutes or so, and we'll go ahead and do a data log. Okay guys, let me just say this first. I am not professional. I've never done this. This is my first time doing it. So if it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, it's because I really don't. This is my first time using this program, and I am literally learning as I'm using it and recording this video. So just to say right now, but I have figured out all of our issues. Now let me show you. First of all, I was having an issue launching RomRaider, and basically I was getting a Java error. You have to have Java 32-bit installed. I tried having 32 and 64-bit installed. It didn't work. I had to uninstall 64 completely, then install 32. I restarted my PC and then it worked fine. But once we get in here, you're gonna have to download a bunch of stuff. In your definitions folder, you're gonna go to Definition Manager. And then in here, you have to set your ECU definitions. There's going to be a link down below. I'll put that and you have to link it. I put all my files that I download inside my actual folder with the RomRaider program, which is right here. So that's my ROMs. That's the ECU definition, my log stuff. Everything I have that's related to this software I have in here. So once you have that in there, you're going to hit apply, save. Close that. Now we can open our logger. As you see, there's a bunch of stuff here. I went ahead and I made a profile and I saved it as 2018 STI Stage 2. And this is my profile. This is everything I have watching. Now, the only thing I'm not really sure about is my rear O2 sensor. I have mine deleted. And I have my wideband sensor hooked up to that. So I'm hoping this will work. This I'm not entirely sure. But if I go ahead and I start the car, all these things should update. All the values now are showing. I was having a problem where the logger was not showing my values. So they weren't updating. So I just closed the logger, rebooted it. Another thing is your parameters here. This is all set based off of what my tuner recommended, but anything you select here will end up showing here, and then you can see all of your parameters and basically what is going on inside your ECU. When you're ready to log, you should just be able to hit start file log. It should save it to a folder that you assign, I would imagine. Honestly, I haven't done it yet. Oh, another thing is diagnose the codes. Now if we click on it, I do have a code. It's my rear O2. I'm assuming my tuner forgot to delete that code, that is fine. I'll let him know about it, and then he can get rid of that. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna let the car warm up, and I'm going to hit the road. I got a bit of a drive I gotta do. I also gotta get some gas. We're getting low. That's okay. So once I start logging, I guess I will show you. I don't know, but I mean, I explained it. It's really not that difficult, so I'm sure you guys can figure it out. Also, another thing is setting up RomRaider. I really didn't show it. I'm going to link down a video below that I recommend watching. It's the one I watched, and it went through in depth and showed exactly what I needed to do in order to get this all set up. So I'll link that down below. You guys can watch it. The guy knows his stuff. Just take his word for it, because I don't really know. This is my first time. So I'll be back once I have an update, I guess. Hey guys, I'm back. I did the first data log and I sent it to my tuner, and I'll just kind of go over some things I've found out and learned. I guess we'll start with the logger and go from there. Basically, this is our logger. This is our parameters that we set up, and let's go over some things that I learned. The rear O2 sensor, I had my wideband hooked up to that, and unfortunately it does not work with Opensource. You cannot run your wideband through your rear O2 connections, so that is no good. That's really frustrating because you can do it with the COBB Accessport. So I was really hoping we were going to be able to do it with this, but it seems like we are not able to. So I'm going to go ahead, remove that. And we cannot use the rear O2 for that. Now, that being said, I had a check engine light for the rear O2. I still have it, and you cannot tune it out with Opensource. I can't see why you can't. You just can't do it. So that's also frustrating. That's something the Accessport can do. So already two things that Opensource you can't do, which the COBB Accessport you can do. You cannot tune out your rear O2 sensor check engine light. And you cannot run your wideband through your rear O2 sensor wiring. So that's annoying. Now, how are you going to record your wideband? Pretty much, we are going to have to get a gauge to sit up here, either up in the vent or down in a cubby or something. And we're going to have to record it while we're e-tuning. Not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. When you are data logging, so you just hit this button right here to start it. Once you're done, it'll say stop. The file ends up in an interesting place. Now, am I going to remember this? It was the C drive, users, Zach, and it was here. This is where my data log ended up, which I found pretty interesting. I already went ahead and I sent this to my tuner, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I no longer need it. Now, I have already sent my data log to my tuner, so he's already sent me a new revision. I've already went ahead and it's kind of got it loaded. So to load a new map on ECU Flash, you hit this folder, you find where you have your revisions. Mine's right here. I'm going to go ahead and open it. It is now open. We are connected. So I'm going to hit the red button to write the map onto the car. So I'm going to turn ignition on. Hit OK. So this is doing its thing, as you can see. So we are all done. You can go ahead and turn the ECU off. Hit OK. And we can close this. As you can see, there is no check engine light, but unfortunately it is going to come back. It is what it is. As soon as the car kind of learns itself and realizes that the rear O2 sensor is gone, it's going to pop up. And that's really unfortunate because it's just annoying. It's really just annoying. The good thing about Opensource is anyone could tune it. EPA I don't think will really be able to crack down on it like they did with COBB. EcuTech, I'm a little nervous for that. That's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't want to go to EcuTech, but I could be wrong. I really am not too sure. It's just really frustrating that there's ways that we could tune with the COBB Accessport that we can no longer do. Like, for example, you can't remove the rear O2 check engine light. That just seems like, really, like, you can't just turn it off. Like, that kind of blows my mind. Another thing is my wideband no longer can run through my rear O2 wiring like it did with the Accessport. That, like, really annoys me because I spent a decent amount of money on that part, and the fact I can't use it and I have to buy something else now and use a gauge, that's kind of frustrating. And when I go tuning now, I pretty much have to record the wideband gauge and then send that video to my tuner so you can see what's going on. That's crazy. I'm not a fan of that. I really am not. It is what it is, I guess. In my opinion, the wideband now it's pretty much a sensor that just goes to a gauge. It no longer communicates with the car, which that kind of bums me out. It is what it is, I guess. Now I have to have gauges. I really don't want gauges. I like the clean setup with the COBB Accessport. Now I know I am kind of complaining, and people could say, oh, just go ahead, put all your emission related stuff back. Well, you're talking about TGVs, evap solenoid, secondary air pump. So a couple things are easy to put back, but a couple isn't. I'd have to rewire my secondary air pump back in. That's kind of a pain. And then I have to pull off the manifold, turbo, up pipe to do all that. TGVs, I might be able to work around it if I just hook it up to the motors. That might be okay. And then the evap solenoid, that's easy. But like, just to get all that on there, just to get the Accessport back, and I've already spent money on all this stuff, I don't think I'm gonna go ahead and put it back. I think we're just gonna stay open source, and now we can just do whatever we want in the future. Like eventually I like to go rotated turbo setup, and if I stay with COBB, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to do. Let's just say that. It is what it is. I've already gone so far into this. I don't see a reason to back out now. We've already spent the money and gone this far. There's not really much data logging I could do now until I get my wideband gauge, so I'm looking at ordering that. We're gonna get a video. Yeah, so right now all I can do is cruising logs. I can't push on her until I get the wideband gauge. Yeah, I mean, I could do a cold start data log, but that's about it. I really can't do much. The build is on standby until I get those parts. So I can go ahead and show you guys data logging all day, but it gets boring, I'm sure, and I'm sure this video is long enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and take it easy.